questions that people have as to how this process is actually happening. I don't know if you know the answer to this question, but how did this all start? How did it begin in the first place?
Okay, well, we have to know that they come from Central America, and they're not Mexicans necessarily that are coming across. There's a mix of Mexicans and Central Americans. The Central Americans are giving themselves up to the Border Patrol to be handed over. It's mainly women and children. And you have to look at this. The cartels are making out like bandits, literally, no pun intended, but they are actually controlling, because what they have is certain areas along that they control, and they say, we'll charge you so much to cross, and we'll even provide you a smuggler to go across. And they give them cheat sheets, they coach them, and they say, okay, here you go, walk over to that first Border Patrol vehicle you see, turn yourself in.
And so why would the drug cartels have any part in this? How do they benefit?
Well, they benefit because they charge them so much per family member to come across. And so what's happening is they're taking advantage of the loophole within the law that's on the books today.
And any idea as to how much money they pay?
I haven't heard the facts or the numbers over there from Texas yet, but I'm sure it's pretty large amount.
And so how did they even get the idea to speak with these people? I mean, did they hear something on the news about, DACA, or how did this combination between the two happen?
Right. Well, you got to see what are they doing? They're fleeing a country of poverty, where basically the gangs are running and ruling the society there, and so when you have this urge to leave, they want a better life, just like you and I do, and so they are taking that risk to come across the border, and that is always the thing there. That risk, we're there to help out, to enforce the border, the laws of the land. But also, we understand that they're humans as well. They're not just people that we just kind of push here and there. So when we see the situations that are pretty desperate, we have compassion on them. But you know what? We as Border Patrol agents are working very hard with the law that we have right now, as it is right now. We're lawfully processing them and then turn them over to ICE, and they are being shipped across country to the different communities. That really is not up to Border Patrol and what we do.
Do you know if anything has happened, has changed in their economy? Because it sounds like it's a third world country. It's not as prosperous as the U.S., but has something recently happened for this to occur?
Well, actually say would probably blame it on the law change, basically, and
in 2012.
In 2012, yes. But also, I don't want to go on rumors and things like that, but it was rumored that this administration was actually advertising down in Central America. But that's only rumor, and I'm not going to make comments whether the rumor is true or not.
Okay, and then so basically, if you can go through the law with me, before 2012, if people came illegally, were they just deported back to where they came from? And now they have to be processed in the U.S., or what specifically has changed in the law?
Well, there's a couple of things, because we're talking about dreamers that would come to the United States with their families, with their moms and dads, and didn't realize that they were illegal until later on. So that's a different story. And you have countries that were contiguous to the United States. Those people would be deported. So if you're coming from Mexico illegally, you're going to get deported back to your country of origin, or if even from Canada. So those are contiguous. But if you're coming from another country where you're under a certain age, you'll be able to cross the border, and you can ask and request for asylum.
And so is that the reason why men aren't attempting to? It's mostly women and children?
For the most part, it's women and children, and once they get here, then I think there's going to be a process where they're going to say, you know what, we cannot deport children. We're a country of benevolence, and we're going to keep them here so that those children will be able to bring their families over into this country.
There's a lot of information missing out there because people just
Right.
don't know. Like, there's all this what ifs. So I think if the little information that we can figure out, if we can put it out there, maybe people can be more understanding of what's going on. Whether they like it or not, I don't know. But.
Right, and we see both sides, because I look at it and I say, you know what, there has to be some kind of change, but I think just blanket amnesty is really not the answer. It has to be where we can identify people who have been here, criminal aliens that need to be deported, the failed policies of the catch and release policies that we have. Also, that we need to be able to pay Border Patrol agents the salary that they need to be paid while doing the job. And also not to be under attack by all the policies and restraints that are being placed upon us. because Border Patrol agents out there, we're risking our lives every single day. So when we're hamstrung by the policies, directives, and things like that internally, it makes our job very difficult. And people hesitate, agents hesitate to do their jobs. And I don't want any of the agents out there on the line to be hurt in any way because they hesitated to do their job. And I'm not saying to go out there and just become a cowboy, but there are rules and regulations and policies that we operate in every single day. We're just like any other law enforcement agency. We have those risks, we take those risks every single day. And you know, it's just difficult sometimes when you have an administration, let's say, that really doesn't exactly believe in what actually that you're doing. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And so, why do you think that? Because of the compensation levels, or why is it that you are not getting the support from the administration that you need? What specifically can they do differently?
There's a paradigm shift that's going on. 10 years ago, we had all these people coming in from Mexico. I was detailed out to Nogales, Yuma. I was detailed out to El Centro many times. And when they needed an influx of agents to control what was going on the border, that's not happening today. Right now what's happening, we're having some agents go from here over there to Texas to help out for processing, changing diapers in facilities. That's all they're doing over there. So the local authorities that I know there are helping out, and it's difficult when you are restrained administratively, and that's what's going on. That's why I say there's a paradigm shift. I mean, we're out there saying one thing, but then other things are happening different.
You're supposed to protect the border, but you aren't really allowed to do that. You're mostly just accepting the people that are coming in.
Right, exactly. So basically we become how do I say, quasi babysitting type of thing.
And are you guys just inundated with immigrants coming over, or what specifically has changed? Are you guys understaffed also?
Well, that's another thing too, is that, you know, it's like a juggling act, and so when we get an overwhelming amount of people, humanity, in a processing area, it's difficult to get the job done because you have every single commuter terminal open and available. One's for checks, one's for inputting fingerprints and all the things that are necessary into the DHS databases. And so when that happens, you have to take agents from where they were at before in enforcement and move them into processing where the enforcement's not effective as enough. And you know, I can't really get into that about, you know, operations. I'm just going to keep it, you know, general. But I know that there have been agents who've been pulled off groups and called to come back to process.
Do you think immigrants just aren't taking the Border Patrol seriously, that they don't think that there's any kind of repercussions, that they just come across and don't really fear for anything anymore?
There isn't any kind of consequences anymore for coming across if you're in that age category, because right now even the San Diego County Sheriff's Department will not honor our immigration hold detainers. They call it a 247 hold. They won't honor those anymore. I think there's some other counties within Southern California who won't do that. So let's say they have a stop and they have someone who they find out that's illegal. We're not going to get them. ICE is not going to get them because they're not going to honor that hold. And I understand too, I understand the law on that they're not under any jurisdiction by the federal government to actually hold that person for them. That request that we give them is only asking. We're just saying, here, could you please do this for us? And there's no way of actually ordering the local county sheriffs to actually hold them in custody.
And lastly, is there anything that can be done? I mean, it seems like this issue is only going to escalate. Is there anything that can be done on the administration side for you guys to do your job more completely?
I think reverse the laws that are on the books right now, allow Border Patrol to enforce the border like we should, give us the assets that we need to do it.